All right, folks, welcome in. We're back with another edition of UFC Reignmaker's Pack Breaks. I am your host, Chris Costa. It's good to be with all of you again. Hopefully we have some newcomers, but also some returners to our Pack Break events. It's going to be a fun day, a fun night. We have 4 different Pack Breaks lined up for you today. This show, we will have 2. We'll come back around again at 6 o'clock Eastern time for another 2. We call these hit drafts, okay? What does that mean? Well, your ticket, your entry ticket has an edition number. That edition number is directly correlated to the order in which you are going to pick the cards that come out of tonight's packs. So for pack break number 1, which is coming up shortly, we will have 40 cards. Those 40 cards will be drafted in order, snake draft style, depending on the number edition of your ticket. If you have the second ticket, you're going to have second pick. If you have the 10th ticket, you're going to have 10th pick. However, with a snake draft, 10th pick is also going to have 11, meaning we go from 1 to 10 and then from 10 to 1. So you'll be picking twice at the end and twice again at the front. All right? That is how this works. Tonight's breaks are comprised of 4. I'll say that again. 4 Genesis Premium packs and 4 Genesis Standard packs. Why is that so important? Well, these Genesis Premium packs are super scarce. This is the only place you can get them. They're sold out, okay? So Genesis Premium packs, there are 4 of them in each of tonight's 4 breaks, okay? That makes for a great format. We're going to have a shot at some Reignmaker cards, which, again, these premium packs are the only place in which you can pull Reignmaker UFC fighter cards. Now, what are we gearing up for? This weekend, we do have a fight night on our hands, all right? We'll get to what the details of that are, what you should be looking for, what some of the fighters that you should be eyeing in some of these breaks if you want to leverage cards for this weekend. Keep in mind, Jessica Andrade, she is coming up for her second opportunity at use in UFC Reignmaker. So if you pull a Jessica Andrade or if you own a Jessica Andrade, you are going to have an opportunity to use her again this weekend in the fight night on the 18th. With that said, let's dive into our pack break. Let's get cranking on pack break number 1. We'll work through our hit draft, and then I will walk you through, guys, some of the highlights and lowlights that I want to cover today on that note, without further ado, let's rip some packs. UFC Reignmaker style. Let's do it. Pack number 1, our first standard pack. We're going to go from right to left. We've got 2 rares in our first pack. We'll take that all day. Font, Dvorak, Barboza are rare. Chris Duncan and Amirkhani. Okay, we'll take a little Rob Font action. Coming up, here we go. Next standard pack, guys. 5 cores. Hate to see it, but let's see if we can get a big name. Jamal Hill, that's a big name. There you go. Ryan Spahn. Alex Pereira. All right, some big names. Dan Ige. And a Curtis Blades. Great pack. Wish there was some color there. Here we go. Pack number 3. Working right to left. Another 5 core. Give me some big names. Moros. Hernandez. Leon Edwards. Yusuf. And a Hamzat. All right. We'll take the Hamzat. Moving on to our next standard pack, guys. Let's see some color. Okay, we got 2 rare. We'll take that. Nishimento. Moreno. Brandon Moreno. Very nice. Dustin Poirier. Also very nice. Brundage. And a rare Devison Figueiredo. The champ. Let's go. Nice card right there. All right, here we go. It's premium time, folks. Buckle up your seatbelts. Let's look for some Reignmakers. We got 3 elite and 2 rare. We'll take it. Said Nurmagomedov. Yair Rodriguez. Very nice. Max Holloway elite. We'll take that all day. How about a Robert Whitaker elite and our final elite of our first premium pack, Tim Elliott. Okay, now we're talking. Next premium pack. Let's see a Reignmaker. Give me a Reignmaker one time. All right, we got a legendary 3 elites and a rare. Here we go. Rob Font, rare. Jonathan Pierce, elite. Rachmanov, elite. Nice card. Nicolau, elite, and our legendary. Kinoshita. All right, we'll take it. A Kinoshita legendary. Next premium pack on the table. An elite and 4 rare. Not ideal, but let's see what we got. A Gore, Petr Yan, a Barboza, Dan Ige, and a Kianzad. Danny Kianzad. Our final premium pack of break number 1, guys. Good luck. One time. Give it to me. Now we're talking. 2 legendaries. That's how you finish with a bang. Let's go. 3 rares and 2 legendaries. From the right, Colby Covington, Corey Sandhagen, and Petr Yan. Pretty solid there. All right, here we go. Strong finish. Salikov and a legendary Petr Yan. Nice card right there. A legendary Petr Yan. We will take it. Okay, guys, so for those of you that are returning or those of you that are new, a quick reminder, we're going to take a couple of minutes here as the team goes and constructs our list. That way you are able to follow along on what is still available on the draft board as your pick comes up. That's going to take us a couple of minutes, and from there, we're going to then work our way through the draft board, all right? All the cards that were picked are going to then be dispersed out to you, the entrants. While we're doing that, I'm going to talk through some key updates, some key points. There's been some changes in the rankings. We had an interesting fight night, or I should say UFC event last week. And we have some talking points on this fight night coming up this weekend. First and foremost, fight night on the 18th. Headliners, Jessica Andrade and Erin Blanchfield. This is actually a schedule change. Andrade was not meant to be on this card and is stepping in to fight Blanchfield. That is some tough luck for Erin Blanchfield. However, it looks like she is not backing down. She considers, quote unquote, everybody is tough, so she doesn't really care. Andrade is coming in and thinks she's going to have a clear shot at Zhang Weili if she wins, and going to go after that strawweight title. In the meantime, it looks like the winner here may also get a shot at Shevchenko for that flyweight title. So it's actually a pretty important matchup here. Andrade and Blanchfield go at it toe-to-toe. This was actually originally scheduled to be Blanchfield versus Julia Santos, but only with a week's notice. Here we go. Andrade steps in, coming off what is one of the more impressive female careers in the UFC. Andrade comes in trying to make her case for the UFC Flyweight Championship. As we mentioned, she is going to be the favorite in this fight. She's got a 24-9 overall record, and this is going to be her second, as we mentioned, octagon fight this year. She did beat Lauren Murphy by unanimous decision last month at UFC 283 in Rio, for those of you that remember. So this will actually be the first example of a UFC fighter card getting its second opportunity at use. So for those of you holding Jessica Andrade, hopefully you used it in her victory over Lauren Murphy. Now you might get a chance for a second victory in Reignmakers. Again, she is a contender across two divisions, strawweight and flyweight. She's a powerful and aggressive fighter, unlike a lot of flyweight competitors, and she's also on a 3-win fight streak. So she's hot, she's dangerous, and she is ready to rock. Meanwhile, the number 10 ranked Erin Blanchfield is our underdog. However, she's a 10-0 record with 7 straight wins. So do not disrespect Miss Erin Blanchfield. If she wins, it's going to really make a strong case, in my opinion, for the next contender to fight for the title in this division. She's got 2 victories in each of her first 2 years on the UFC roster. She had a really solid rookie campaign and really looking to finish up what was a strong sophomore season. Last year, she did submit veteran J.J. Aldrich. It put J.J. in a guillotine, for those of you that remember that fight. And in November, she actually defeated Molly McCann via submission midway through the opening round. And the nickname for Miss Blanchfield is Cold-Blooded, and that is certainly not a lie. Moving on, our co-main event is going to be Zach Pagua and Jordan Wright. This is the light heavyweight bout. For those of you that know Zach Pagua, he's actually an ex-NFL player. He was on the practice squad for the Houston Texans and a running back for the Houston Texans after playing tight end in college. And here he is now in the UFC with a 5-1 record. Both Zach and Jordan Wright are both coming off of losses. Zach Pagua did lose to Muhammad Usman in the recent Ultimate Fighter finalist, or in the final match of the Ultimate Fighter, I should say. That was actually a pretty pent up and built up, hyped up match for those Ultimate Fighter champions. I should say Ultimate Fighter fans. Both Zach Pagua and Jordan Wright have both recently moved to the light heavyweight division. They both have extremely different fighting styles. Again, he is really more of a bruiser, I would say, but Jordan Wright comes in 12-4 overall compared to Zach Pagua's 5-1 record. He's on a 3-fight skid. He did move up to this 205-pound light heavyweight class after a 1-4 run at middleweight. He did win a light heavyweight promotional debut against Ike Villanueva. And the division change is really what they see, or what his team sees as an opportunity. He has the skills and the technical ability, and he has 12 stoppage wins in each of his 12 career victories. So interesting top 2 fights. The main event, certainly very intriguing for a fight night. The co-main event, I think, is also an intriguing fight. 2 very different styles. We'll see who can take the W home there. We'll talk about some of the other fights on the board momentarily, but for those of you paying attention, you can see that our draft list is ready to rock, okay? So how this is going to work, I'm going to call out who is on the board. You are going to have a shot clock to get your pick in. If you do not meet that shot clock, we'll go to an auto pick. That auto pick is decided by criteria that we have posted and talked about already. Pick 1 on the board, Harsh Reality 18. You are on the clock. Harsh Reality 18. One of the things I do want to cover here with you guys tonight, we don't have to cover it this second, but I do want to talk through what changes we have seen in the overall fighting ranks between not only pound for pound, but also fights within ranks. All right, pick 1 is on the board. Petr Yan, Legendary. Nice grab. Petr Yan, Legendary off the board. And here we go with the second overall pick, our close friend, our trusted Reignmaker drafter, King Poopy. Second overall pick, and the pick is in. Muslim Salikov, the legendary Salikov, goes to King Poopy. Third pick is up. Bears 21 on the clock with the third overall pick. Guys, again, please remain engaged. Please stay present. The faster we can move through this, the faster we can get through the draft. The more quickly you can get your picks in, get ahead of your picks, play in your picks, the faster this draft will work for everybody. Third pick is in. Thank you, Bears. Elite Rachmanov. The Elite Rachmanov goes to Bears 21. The fourth pick on the board, White Tea Poison. Good to see you again, my friend. Good luck. You are on the clock. White Tea Poison on the clock. And the pick is in. White Tea Poison takes down the Yusaku Kinoshita Legendary. The Kinoshita Legendary off the board. Pick 5, Sergeant Danz. Welcome in. You are on the clock. Pick 5, Sergeant Danz. D-A-N-Z. Sergeant Danz on the clock. And the pick is in. The Elite Max Holloway goes to Sergeant Danz. We move on to pick 6, Laguna Curly 24. Laguna Curly 24. You are on the clock. And guys, I do want to run and rip through the pound for pound rankings in the men's division. The men's pound for pound, we do still have Volkanovski up top, Makhachev in the 2 slot, Leon Edwards in the 3 slot, Usman also tied for 3rd, and Izzy Adesanya in the 5. We'll get to the rest of those momentarily, but we do have a pick in. Laguna Curly 24 taking the Robert Whitaker Elite. Robert Whitaker Elite going to Laguna Curly. We move on to pick 7. DN Walker 1. Good to see you again, my friend. You are on the clock. On the clock is DN Walker 1. We have seen changes here, guys. Yuri Prochaska is now in the 10 slot. John Jones now in 11. Dustin Poirier now in the 12 slot. And you've got moves. Very interesting. Here we go. DN Walker 1 is taking down the Elite Jonathan Pierce. We then move on to spot 8, CBR Fan. And the 8th pick by CBR Fan is also in. We have the Pani Kianzad Elite. We move to pick 9, Mr. Pointman. Mr. Pointman, welcome back, my friend. You are on the clock, and your pick is in. The rare Peter Yan. And then we go back to back, 10 and 11, going to Verbal Kint. Verbal Kint, good to see you again as well. You are back to back and on the clock. Ready to rock. But yeah, some interesting changes there. Yuri, John Jones, and Dustin Poirier were your 10, 11, 12. We now have John Jones in the 10, Yuri in the 11, and Poirier in the 12. Interesting. All right, Verbal Kint goes with the 9, Verbal Kint in the 10 slot, Elite Mathis Nicolau, and then back again with the Elite Tim Elliott. We move to 12, Mr. Pointman on the clock again. Nice pace here, folks. Nice pace. Let's go. I love a good pace. All right, Mr. Pointman, you are in the rare Saeed Nurmagomedov. And we go to 13, CBR Fan. 13 on the clock, CBR Fan. Again, CBR Fan is on the clock, working our way through the rare editions. Pick is in. Rare Peter Yan, 85. The rare Peter Yan, 85 goes to CBR Fan. DN Walker 1 back on the clock. Flyweight rankings are also pretty interesting. No major changes there. Your champion, of course, still Brandon Moreno. We have Davison Figueiredo in the 1 contender slot. Pantoja in the 2 slot. Kai Kara France in 3. Brandon Royval 4. And Matthias Nicolau, who was just taken off the board in the 5 hole. Couple of interesting updates in the UFC world, folks. The name Conor McGregor is showing its face again in headlines. Deanne Walker 1 on the clock. And the pick is in. At least it looks like the pick is in. I believe Deanne Walker 1 is taking the rare Davison Figueiredo. Rare Davison Figueiredo to DN Walker 1. Pick 15 on the board, Laguna Curly 24. Here we go. You are on the clock, Laguna Curly 24. And Laguna Curly's pick is in, the rare Yair Rodriguez. Winner at UFC. Recent winner, I should say. And 16 on the clock, Sergeant Danz. You are back on the clock, Sergeant Danz. So yeah, guys, John Jones and Conor McGregor both are going to return to the UFC this year. Conor McGregor announcing that he is going to be fighting Michael Chandler, it looks like, the second half of this year. They're both also coaches in Dana White's Contender Series, I think it is. But yeah, it's going to look like a very interesting, intriguing matchup. Conor McGregor finally healed from that broken leg. That'll be very interesting to see later this year. Big, big ticket fight. Sergeant Dan's pick is in, the rare Colby Covington going to Sergeant Dan's, and then pick 17 is on the clock, White Tea Poison. White Tea Poison takes down the Chris Duncan rare, and we move on to Bears 21 in the 18 slot. Bears 21 in the 18 slot. Yeah, they're taking on each other. So Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor both coaching in The Ultimate Fighter, and then they are going to fight each other as well. So that makes for an interesting storyline. Here we go. Rare Corey Sandhagen going to Bears 21 in the 18 hole, and we move on to slot 19. King Poopy. King Poopy taking home my friend Rob Font, rare Rob Font, serial number 20. We move on back-to-back 20 and 21, Harsh Reality 18. We're back to the top of our draft, folks. Harsh Reality 18, 20 and 21. Little drink. $20 and $21 on the clock with Harsh Reality. First pick is in at the 20 slot, the rare Makwan Amirkhani. Makwan Amirkhani rare going to Harsh Reality 18 and 21 back-to-back. 21 is going to be, it looks like, do we have a pick in? And we've got an auto pick in. Yep, the rare Davison Figueiredo. That can't be correct. That is not correct. That player is taken. That is going to be an auto pick. Dan Ige, Harsh Reality 18. Dan Ige. Are we adjusting that pick? Sorry, guys, bear with us. Dan Ige is going to Harsh Reality 18. Give us a moment, team. There's some confusion on the back end. Another couple of hot topics, guys, here while we work that through. We have the team working through it, just clearing up some things. But Izzy Adesanya also came out, if you guys were paying attention, and said that he doesn't think he's going to be fighting in 5 years. He'd like to leave on top. You take that for what you make of it. But obviously one of the top fighters on the planet making some interesting comments. And then you saw, hopefully, Matt Brown versus Court McGee was added to the UFC event on May 13th. So keep that in mind as you start to look at the secondary market. 21 is now the next open pick, guys. $22, the rare Dan Ige is 22 going. Guys, I need some clarity on our end from the team, what pick we're on. Pick 23, Bears 21. 23, Bears 21 is on the board. We do have a pick in. All right, we're on track here, guys. Ryan Spann Core. We are now going to pick 24, White Tea Poison. White Tea Poison. White Tea Poison is on the clock. And guys, just a reminder here as we work our way through the back half of this draft, there is a portfolio gated contest. Those requirements, it is going to be taking place on the 18th. The requirements are going to be from Genesis packs, standard, premium, add-on packs, or even from secondary. So any cards that come out of the Genesis set, and you're going to need 5 or more Genesis Women's Flyweight Fighter Gamer cards to be able to qualify. It does not have to be unique fighters. You can have 5 of the same, 3 of the same. They can be duplicates. They're any rarity, any edition, no edition tiers. It is a single entry contest. However, the prizing is pretty incredible. You are going to get the top 10 winners are going to receive a piece of authentic canvas, the floor of the octagon, from a future UFC event. And then finishers ranked number 11 through 25 are going to receive a Reignmaker UFC Fight Night event pack. So really great payout across the board. That is a cool ass piece of memorabilia. All right, White Tea Poison pick is in. Rare Cody Brundage. We move on to pick 25, Sergeant Dan's, the rare Trayshawn Gore. We then move to pick 26. Laguna Curly grabs the core Dustin Poirier, and we move back to pick 27. DN Walker 1 on the clock, my friend. On the clock. DN Walker 1 is taking the core Dan Ige. And we move to pick 28, CBR Fan. CBR Fan. Guys, after the Pagua Wright fight, you're going to have a heavyweight bout this weekend between John Parisian and Jamal Pogues. Each earned two Dana White Contender Series wins, right? It's an important matchup for both these guys early on in their UFC career. Parisian's looking to build some momentum. Pogues wants to impress in his first ever UFC appearance. I would say Parisian is more physically imposing, but Pogues is an athletic guy. So I think this is actually a pretty intriguing matchup. Pogues is 9-3 overall. He's a newcomer in his first UFC appearance. And then you got Parisian, who's your underdog. He's 15-5 overall. He has an appearance on The Ultimate Fighter in between his season 2 and season 4 wins. So he's built a 13-3 record prior to the UFC. Worth noting, I think it's going to be actually an intriguing matchup. All right, CBR fans grabbing the Corleon Edwards. At spot 29, Mr. Pointman is grabbing the Kork Hamzat. And then we go 30 and 31 back-to-back with Verbal Kint. 30 is going to be the core Brandon Moreno for Verbal Kint. And then Verbal Kint comes back with pick 31 on the clock. And that is going to be the core Alex Pereira. We move to Mr. Pointman and slot 32. You guys are cruising right now. Love it. Cruising with the picks. Absolutely cruising. Mr. Pointman, slot 32 is on the clock. On the clock, Mr. Pointman. Mr. Pointman's pick is in. It is a core Curtis Blades. And we move on to CBR fan in the 33 slot. And we are approaching the end of our draft. We're in the final stretch. These are where the picks matter. These are where strategy matters. The final stretch of the draft. CBR fan on the clock in the 33 slot. He takes my man, Rob Font of the New England Cartel. We move on to slot 34, DN Walker 1. DN Walker 1 in the 34 hole, and he is taking the core Sadiq Yusuf. Core Sadiq Yusuf. We move on to slot 35, Laguna Curly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fighter cards left. Laguna Curly is going to take the Anthony Hernandez core. Anthony Hernandez core, and we move on to slot 36, Sergeant Danz. Sergeant Danz, you are on the clock. 5 cards left. Sergeant Danz is going to take the Marina Moros. Marina Moros. We move on to slot 37, White Tea Poison. 4 cards on the board. 4 cards on the board. White Tea Poison is going to take the core Rodrigo Nascimento. Rodrigo Nascimento. We move to slot 38. Bears 21. You're on the clock, my friend. Bears 21 on the clock. 3 cards on the board. Bears 21 is taking the core David Dvorak. Final pick for King Poopy coming in at slot 39. Slot 39, King Poopy is taking the core Jamahal Hill. That leaves the Edson Barboza for the final pick to Harsh Reality 18. And folks, that is the end of break 1 today. Thank you guys for being present. Thank you guys for being engaged. It helps move the draft along. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Some great cards went out. Hopefully you guys have some cards that you can continue to build your collection with. Again, do not lose sight of the fact that your franchise score is going to automatically enter you to win over $4 million in prizes this season just by building your collection, just by opening packs, just by adding cards from the secondary market. By being here and participating, you are increasing your chances of winning franchise leaderboard score prizes. On that note, it's time for break 2. Let's start cracking Break number 2 on the way. From right to left, standard pack number 1, 5 core cards. We've got a Lauren Murphy, a Jorge Masvidal, an Abarakimov, an Ivanov, and a Tai Tuivasa. That is pack number 1. Moving on to pack number 2 for you folks. From right to left, another 5 cores. A Kizriev, a Trevin Giles, a Tai Tuivasa again, an Alex Perez, and a Robert Whitaker core. Our third standard pack, we've got a rare included, our Paulo Costa, Alexander Romanov, a Bryce Mitchell, a Josh Emmett, and our rare is a Jennifer Maya. We'll take that. We will take that. Another 5 core card standard pack. Our premium packs better deliver. Malarkey, a Veta, a Molina, Cynthia Calvillo, and a Angela Hill. First premium pack. Here we go, folks. We need a Reignmaker tonight. There we go. On cue. On cue. Here we go. We're going Reignmaker hunting, folks. Good luck. From the right, our first rare is going to be a Derek Lewis. Nice card. Next rare, a Mackenzie Dern. 2 elites, a Cao Rosa, and a Amanda Ribas. All right, here we go. Reignmaker time. Good luck, everybody. Good luck. Trevin Giles, Reignmaker. We will take it. Beauty. I know a card is top of the list right now. Here we go. 5 rares. My goodness. Eric Silva, Li Jinglang, Valentina Shevchenko, and a Colby Covington back-to-back. Very nice duo right there. And an Evlev. All right, here we go. 2 legendaries. We'll take it. Here we go. Let's start to heat up. Let's look for some big names. Glover Teixeira, legend. A Molina, Jeffrey Molina. Maddie Schnell. 2 legendaries. Here we go. Journey Newsom. And a Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque. Here we go. Final premium pack. Guys, we have yet to see Conor McGregor in any of our pack breaks. I really would like to. The news is now out that he's going to be fighting this year. Can we please find a Conor McGregor tonight? Please. Here we go. Good luck. From right to left, legendary and 4 rare. Here we go. Sadikov, Dustin Poirier, nice. Manel Cape, Irene Aldana, nice. And our legendary last card of the break, Kai Kara France. Nice legendary card right there. All right, folks, as you know, that is the break. Our team is going to go into the back end, and they are going to start building your list so that we can follow along during the draft and keep eyes on where we're at. Again, we will work our way through based on ticket addition. If you have the 3rd ticket, you have the 3rd pick. If you have the 5th ticket, you have the 5th pick. We'll go 1 to 10 and then 10 to 1, snaking our way back and forth through all 40 cards that we just pulled. Again, this is what we call a hit draft. Real quick, I want to reiterate, I mentioned it leading into the break, but I do want to touch on the fact that your franchise score is so crucial. There is so much money on the line just by building your collection, either by entering pack breaks with us, by buying your own packs and opening those, by buying cards on the secondary market. As you build your collection on the DraftKings Reignmakers Marketplace, your franchise score will increase. That will then enable you and gain you greater access to these franchise score rewards and competitions. It is free money. By participating, you are increasing your chances at rewards and winnings, okay? $4 million, folks. You're crazy. Or maybe we're crazy. I don't know. I think we're probably crazy. Anyways, real quick, just a reminder for those just joining now for this break, if you weren't here for the first break, we do have our UFC Fight Night event on the 18th. You have Jessica Andrade filling in and jumping in last minute's notice and taking on Erin Blanchfield, and she finds herself the favorite. She's the number 3 ranked flyweight with a 24-9 overall record with her 2nd fight of the season. So if you have Andrade cards, this is actually the first fighter we've seen getting their 2nd opportunity at Reignmaker action, okay? second opportunity at Reignmaker action. Jessica Andrade owners, where you at? Everybody stand up. Raise your hand. Second time. Here we go. Erin Blanchfield is coming into this fight with a 10-0 record, a 7-win fight streak. If she wins, this could make her the next contender to fight for the title. However, this is also making a case to fight Valentina Shevchenko if we can see Andrade take home the fight, okay? Meanwhile, the co-main event, we've got Zach Pagua and Jordan Wright going head-to-head. I mentioned it earlier. Zach Pagua, an ex-NFL running back, actually played on the practice squad for the Houston Texans after playing tight end in college. So I think that's a really interesting wrinkle. Obviously, an athletic guy. He did just take his first loss to Muhammad Usman in the Ultimate Fighter finals. But I think he's got promise here. He's a 5-1 overall record. And he's taking on Jordan Wright. He's actually favored over Jordan Wright, who has a 12-4 overall record, but coming on a 3-fight skid. So a very interesting fight. A fight I like Pagua in. Oh, excuse me, Pauga. My bad. I like Pauga over Wright here, and I think it is going to be an interesting fight. We also have the heavyweight bout between Josh Parisian and Jamal Pogues. Each have earned 2 Dana White Contender Series wins. This is an important matchup for both. Parisian looks like he's trying to build momentum here, but Pogues is trying to impress in his first UFC appearance. As you guys can imagine, your first time in a UFC octagon, you want to come out swinging. So I expect Pogues to come out with some fire. Parisian is definitely more physically imposing. You'll notice if you're watching the fight on the 18th. However, Pogues is an athlete with a 9-3 overall record. Again, first UFC appearance, so I do expect some fire coming behind those hands. And he does have victories in the Contender Series, Season 3 and Season 6. He is a well-regarded prospect early in his career, and he is favored over Josh Parisian, who has a 15-5 overall record. Touching on the light heavyweight matchup, we have not talked about this yet tonight. The William Knight versus Marcin Prachnio, I mean. These are light heavyweight finishers. It's really a bounce back opportunity for Knight as he returns to the light heavyweight division. Prachnio is looking to get back in the win column as well. You've got Knight favored with an 11-4 record. He's won 3 of his first 4 appearances, following his second successful appearance on the Contender Series, but he has lost his last 2 fights at this heavyweight level. He did lose by unanimous decision against Maxime Grishin. That was initially ticketed for the 205-pound ranks. They stopped the fight in the third as well in his bout against Devin Clark 2 months later. So kind of a slow period for Knight. But in the meantime, Prachnio comes in with a 15-6 overall record, and it took him 4 tries to earn his first UFC win. He's at least earned it. He definitely earned it. And he followed it up with a decision over Khalil Roundtree Jr. and a stoppage victory over Ike Villanueva. He did have a lot of momentum coming in, but he was halted by Felipe Lins in his last fight. He's 34. He's looking to start another win streak, so another interesting matchup. You also are going to have your lightweight matchup, Jim Miller versus Alexander Hernandez. And then you are going to have some prelims that are also fairly interesting, especially for you gamblers out there. Our draft board is up. A couple of other things that I'll get to during the draft, but here we go. Grab a chair, settle in, make sure you're paying attention as your name comes up. Try to have your picks ready. Let's keep it moving, folks. Let's keep it moving nice and tight. First pick of the draft goes to Elgrian. Elgrian is on the clock. First overall pick in our hit draft goes to Elgrian. And Elgrian is taking down our Reignmaker, Trevin Giles. The Reignmaker, Trevin Giles, is going to Elgrian. Nice card. Very nice. Second pick overall, Bears 21. Welcome back, my friend. Bears 21 is on the clock and is taking down the Kai Kara France. The legendary Kai Kara France. And we move on to the third pick, Elf Kev. Good to see you again, my friend. Elf Kev is on the board and on the clock with the third pick. Who's it going to be, Elf Kev? Elf Kev is on the clock. Elf Kev coming in hot. Vicente Luque, legendary. Very nice. The Vicente Luque, legendary. Going to Elf Kev. And we move on to slot number 4, Yoshi FL. Good to see you again, my friend. Yoshi FL, you're on the clock in the 4-hole. Yoshi FL is taking the legendary Journey Newsom. Slot 5, Tedu. Good to see you again, my friend. Tedu is on the clock in the 5-hole and taking down the Amanda Ribas Elite. Amanda Ribas Elite. 6, going to Geek. Geek, good to see you again, my friend. In the 6th slot, Geek is going to take down the Elite Carol Rosa. Carol Rosa going to Geek. And we move on to the 7th overall pick. Going to Dustin Vandeman, a newcomer. Dustin Vandeman, good to have you. Welcome in. And Dustin is taking Valentina Shevchenko rare. Great card. Very nice. That'll be useful at the end of the month. Excuse me, next month, I should say. Picks 8 and 9, back-to-back. Dave Sturp. Dave Sturp, good to see you. Back-to-back picks, slot 8 and slot 9. You are on the clock, my friend. Dave Sturp. Slot 8 on the board. Matt Schnell rare is going to Dave Sturp. And the 9th pick also going to Dave Sturp. That is going to be... Wish I had sound effects. Tick, tock, tick, tock. That is going to be the rare Nazim Sadikov. We move on to another back-to-back, 10 and 11, going to typical gamer tag. Good to see you again, my friend. Good to have you here. Back-to-back in the 10-hole. Typical gamer tag is on the clock. Guys, again, if you're just joining, you may have missed it, but some pretty interesting headlines coming up. Conor McGregor is making his return to the UFC. Both John Jones and Conor McGregor coming back. Conor McGregor obviously was announced as a coach in The Ultimate Fighter across from Michael Chandler. Well, it turns out they're going to be fighting each other later this year, so that is going to be one to keep an eye out for. All right, here we go. Typical gamer tag in slot 10, auto picking the rare Colby Covington. Rare Colby Covington in the 10-hole. And we come back in the 11th slot to typical gamer tag yet again. I believe that is also going to be an auto draft and going to go the Glover Teixeira. If I had to guess. Ooh, no, we didn't. It is the Poirier. Thank you. He's back. Rare Dustin Poirier going to typical gamer tag. And we go back-to-back again with Dave Sturp. Pick 12 and pick 13. Dave Sturp is on the clock. Dave Sturp coming in with the rare Irene Aldana in the 12-hole. And we move on to the 13th pick, also owned by Dave Sturp. Dave Sturp going to take the Movsar Evloev. Rare Evloev. Dustin Vandeman in the 14-hole. Dustin Vandeman in the 14-hole. You are on the clock. Dustin is taking the rare Li Jinglang. And we move on to slot 15 with Geek. Geek, you're on the clock. Geek is taking the rare Jeffrey Molina. Rare Jeffrey Molina is going to Geek. We move to slot 16, owned by Tedu. Tedu, you are on the clock at 16. Tedu takes the rare Manel Cape. We go to 17, Yoshi FL. Yoshi FL is taking the rare Eric Silva. We move to 18, Elf Kev. Elf Kev taking the rare Glover Teixeira, the legend. Sliding to 19, Bears 21 on the clock. Bears 21 on the clock. Bears 21, you are on the clock, my friend. And the pick is in, the rare Derek Lewis going to Bears 21. We move to Elgrian in slots 20 and 21. We are back at the top of our draft, folks. Back to back with Elgrian, 20 and 21. '20 and 21. '20 and 21. Back to back Elgrian. We are auto picking at 20, the rare Jennifer Maya. And then we go rare Mackenzie Dern. Moving on to slot 22, Bears 21. Bears 21 in the 22 hole. Taking the core Romanov, Alexander Romanov. We move on to slot 23. Elf Kev is on the clock, working our way into the core tier. Elf Kev on the clock. Core Tai Tuivasa. Core Tai Tuivasa. Moving to 24, Yoshi FL. '24, Yoshi FL is taking the Robert Whitaker core. We move on to slot 25 with Tedu. Slot 25, Tedu, you're on the clock. Tedu is on the clock. Guys, again, just a reminder, there is the portfolio gated contest this weekend on the 18th. Pack requirements are Genesis cards, so they can be from standard, premium, any of the packs that we've been opening, add-on packs, cards from the secondary market, as long as they're from the Genesis set. Again, you're going to need 5 or more Genesis women's flyweight fighter game cards, okay? But they don't have to be unique. They can be duplicates. You can have 3 of the same fighter, any rarity, any edition. It is a single entry contest. The fighter doesn't have to be in the lineup, though, okay? The top 10 winners are going to receive a piece of authentic canvas from the floor of the octagon from a future UFC event. Very, very cool. And finishers ranked 11 through 25 are then also going to receive a Reignmaker UFC Fight Night event pack. Okay? Very cool prizing. Make sure you get your entries in. A single entry contest, so make sure you build your lineup. Okay? Back to our draft. Geek, 26. Tedu, 24. The core Alex Perez. 26 went to Geek, the core Lauren Murphy. 27 went to Dustin Vandeman, the core Alikshab Kizriev. And 28 and 29, back-to-back to Dave Sturp. We go core Trevin Giles, and we go core Josh Emmett. All right, we're all caught up. We're approaching the final stretch. We go, Dave Sturp, Trevin Giles, and Bryce Mitchell. Trevin Giles and Bryce Mitchell in the 28 and 29 slot. 30 and 31, back-to-back, typical gamer tag. You're on the clock. Typical gamer tag, you are on the clock. Typical gamer tag, back-to-back. Core Jeffrey Molina and core Tai Tuivasa. We move back to Dave Sturp at 32 and 33. Dave Sturp, 32 and 33. You're on the clock, my friend. On the clock. Dave Sturp at 32 is taking the core Cynthia Calvillo, and at 33 is taking the core Jamie Malarkey. Dustin Vandeman, you are in the 34 hole. 34. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards left, folks. 7 cards left. Dustin Vandeman is taking the core Marlon Vera. And we move to 35, owned by Geek. Geek, you're on the clock. Geek is taking the core Angela Hill. Tedu in the 36 hole. You're on the clock, my friend. Tedu is taking the core Jorge Masvidal. Then we move to Yoshi FL in the 37 slot. 4 cards left. Yoshi is taking the core Paulo Costa. And we move to 38, Elf Kev. Elf Kev in the 38 hole is taking the core Josh Emmett. Bears 21 in the 39 hole. You are on the clock. Bears 21 on the clock in the 39 hole. 2 fighter cards on the board. Bears 21. And he is taking the core Shamil Abdurakhimov. And the last pick in the 40 hole, Elgrin is taking the Ivanov. All right, guys, that is our break. Thank you guys for being so engaged. Thank you guys for getting your picks in on time. Again, we're back tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern time for another 2 hit drafts. If you're in them, great. We'll see you then. If you're not, I encourage you to join and hang with us. Hopefully, we're going to pull something huge. I need a big Conor McGregor, a legendary Conor McGregor. Heck, why not a Reignmaker Conor McGregor? Guys, we'll see you tonight. This is UFC Reignmakers Hit Drafts. We're coming back with more. See you soon.